Good evening, Mustang Nation. Welcome to the corral for tonight's boys basketball game between the York Suburban Trojans and your Southwestern Mustangs. About 1 minute, 1.5 minutes left on the clock for warm-ups. Teams are going through their warm-ups before we start. We get our starting lineups and national anthem. I am Nate Brodbeck, along with Matt Lawhead.
How you doing?
You asking me or everybody out there?
Saying, hey. Well, living legend in the house, Coach Mike Resitar. I'm wearing the same hat as he is tonight. Well,
You probably had to pay for it.
It was an older version, definitely an older version. Fitted though, so you know this was back when the Dream Team was together.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Southwestern School District, home of the Mustangs. This evening, we would like to welcome the Trojans from York Suburban High School, as well as their fans, to the corral for a non-league boys basketball game. Tonight's contest is sanctioned by the York Adams Interscholastic Athletic Association, is being played for the benefit of the student athletes of these schools. The athletes, coaches, and officials are guests of Southwestern High School. All fans are asked to respect the effort each of them has put towards preparing for tonight's contest. We're asking that all cheers, chants, and yells be supportive of the team they are representing. Any comment meant to demean, embarrass, or disrupt play will not be tolerated. Any spectator by their actions or behavior interfering with this contest will be removed from the premises. Additionally, no signs, banners, noisemakers, or face paint are permitted in the stands. Your attendance and support of Southwestern Athletics is appreciated, and we hope you enjoy tonight's competition. And now, starting on
PA announcer Paul Zeroff about to start the starting lineups here. First for the Trojans of York Suburban. Number 10, Luke Babinchek.
Number 20, sophomore Aiden Hughley.
Sorry, Lauren.
Number 35, junior Anthony Brown.
Anthony Brown.
And number 45, senior
Aiden Hughley, we missed him.
The Trojans are coached by head coach Tom Triggs and assisted by Joe Hasselfuss,
Coached by Tom Triggs.
And now starting for your Southwestern Mustangs. Number 3, junior Angelo Alacio.
Coach Wilcox Mustangs.
Number
3, Angelo Alacio. Number 5, Aaron Fry.
Number 33, forward sophomore John Fenwick.
Big man in the middle, number 33, sophomore John Fenwick.
Number 25, forward senior Garrett Wilson.
A senior, number 25, Garrett Wilson.
And number 23, our senior Derek Huff.
And number 23, Derek Huff. Coached by Clayton Wilcox, assisted by Glenn Westerlin and Chris Seger. At this time, we rise for the national anthem. Coach is going over the final instructions. Tip off in a minute. Matt, York Suburban comes in with a record of 4-6. Southwestern 2-9. This is a crossover matchup as York Suburban's in Division 2. Southwestern, of course, in Division 1.
Quite a bit of height out there for the Suburban Trojans. They just look tall, and we're up here in the friendly confines of the walkway. I feel like I could give a high five to number 45, Alex Furman, down there just by reaching my hand out. Should be an interesting matchup. Number 22 and 27 seeds in 5A district rankings.
Fenwick tips. York Suburban controls.
And they're looking to go on high-low right away. Furman down low. Fenwick guarding him. Gorman, the transfer from York Country Day.
Really post inside there. And 2 points.
Yep. Huff gets caught behind Aiden Hewley. A 6'5" forward. Nice seal. Easy little bunny.
Fry and Alacio handled in the backcourt against a little pressure. Alacio in the corner, thought about it, enters it to Fenwick. Back out to Fry. Alacio for 3. A bit strong. York Suburban comes down with it.
Nice play by Fry to get the ball in transition. We'll take that corner three from Alacio all day long, as long as he gets his feet set. That's a good shot. Looks like some 3 out, 2 in action. Into the flex.
Fenwick contests. Off the mark. Scramble for the ball. York Suburban comes down with it. Skip pass. Attack. Dump off. And we got 2 more.
1-2-2 pressure. Soft 3/4 court from the Trojans. Mustangs handled it well the first time up.
That's 4 quick points for Hewley. Fenwick for 3. Huff hustled it down. Suburban down with it.
And there's that high-low again, looking to take advantage of the 6'5" and 6'7" bigs. Little dribble drive by Babinchak. Quick 6-0 lead. Mustangs need a good offensive possession here.
Well, they've had 2 good looks so far. Just got to settle down, make them, got to execute. Obviously, on the other end, you got to get some stops. Can't allow Suburban to keep this percentage up.
And with this 3-2 zone defense that Suburban's playing, you expect to get some wide open threes as long as they're patient, reverse the ball.
Huff from the top. He's off the mark. Alacio fights for it. Off of Alacio's foot, Suburban ball. Looks like they're really trying to pack it in, almost giving Southwestern that 3-point shot. So far, that's worked out for them.
I've been impressed with Gorham's rebounding ability from the guard position. Little run and jump from the Mustangs. Look at that.
Alacio gets it. Off to Fry. Looks like a kicked ball before or on the initial pass.
Caught him by surprise. And that's what the Mustangs are going to have to do. Mix up the defense a little bit. A little stale to start the game defensively. What do they have? Ball baseline out of bounds.
We got a whistle, dead ball whistle here. Looks like a push on Suburban.
Yep, shove. Shove on Anthony Brown.
An emphatic shove.
I feel like that's a skill you've got to teach kids, is the questioned arms look to the official, right? Where you're like, well, me? I think every basketball player in the history of basketball has done that.
Gorman jumps the pass. And Fighting with Huff for it, ends up Suburban ball.
Little cross screen. Yeah, a little cross screen with the bigs. If you're the Mustangs, it's almost like let's let them shoot from the outside.
That's Babinchek.
He says, okay. And they'll settle back into that 1-2-2 pressure, three-quarter court. Mustangs bring it up. Nice pass.
About halfway through the first quarter. Mustangs still looking for their first bucket.
Trojans ready to run a set. A little double screen on the block. Warm with the attack. Another outside shot. Huff with the rebound.
Fry pushes into the front court. He attacks left. Huff for three. Just a bit strong. Alacio down with it. He attacks. He's blocked at the rim. Alacio fights for it. Over to Huff. 2 points. Good hustle, Angelo Alacio.
Yeah, really impressed with him coming out in this first quarter. He's had his nose in a couple of those offensive rebound situations, just outworking the other player. That's what you want to see.
That's the type of effort that could get a team going. Jumpers off. Suburban down with it. And Suburban resets.
They're going high-low. Little 3-out, 2-in action. Back into the trees.
Hewley looking for Furman on a dump-off. Doesn't work out. Southwestern takes over. Into the game for Southwestern, number 22, Corey Lee, replaces Garrett Wilson.
And I think that's just a reaction to the posts of York Suburban, the size. Corey Lee comes in, big body, physical underneath. Nice little pass right away from Corey into Huff. And that's what they need. 8-4, Mustangs down 4. They've cut the lead in half in about a minute. Can they get another stop?
Fight for the rebound. Southwestern gathers.
Missed corner three by Huff. The Trojans push the ball up. Gorham, foul line jumper. Smooth. Someone's got to stop the ball in transition there, Coach.
Back to the 1-2-2 pressure. Fry to Alacio. Trying to get the ball to Huff there again. Worked out last time. Suburban's off the mark, but they rebound, and Huff blocks it out of bounds. Good recovery. So we got a Southwestern timeout.
30-second variety. So don't go away too long. You need to get a drink or a snack. Speaking of snacks, I wonder if Hudson's having his vanilla wafers and Ellie is having her animal crackers. I'm sure they're both having a cup of milk.
Sounds delicious.
I did manage to take a bag of fruit snacks away before the game. So they're going to be missing one of those. What do you think Coach Wilcox called that timeout for?
Well, you saw the success getting the ball to Huff there to the middle. Probably to talk about continuing to do that, but you have to ball fake in that situation. You can't telegraph the pass, but that's where the pass needs to go. And of course, on the boards, we're getting beat. Southwestern's getting beat on the offensive glass. Probably a mention to box out and fight for those rebounds. And there you have it. Corey Lee down with it.
He's had a nice impact so far coming in the game.
The other thing is if Suburban can't score, they can't set up that pressure, that trap pressure. That's Fenwick with a little jump hook.
Nice entry from Alacio. Alacio's had a great first quarter.
So Suburban wants to push. Southwestern doing a nice job getting back there. Gorham attacks.
That's just too easy. That's too easy.
He's good to the right. And again, they score. They can set up this pressure. There it is to Huff. Huff to Corey Lee. He attacks. And one. We get a block call and one. Looks like the key is to get that ball to that high post or the top of the key position where Derek Huff's been setting himself up. Once we get there, good things have been happening.
Yeah, you put pressure on the defense there because if you can get the ball to Derek, then you're on a 3-on-2 situation. And then those two defenders have to make a decision. Are you going to stay down low? Or are you going to stay in the corner? Or are you going to guard Derek? And if they don't guard Derek, he's going to take a wide open three.
Corey Lee completes the three-point play. And the Mustangs have it within 3. 1:42 left in the first.
And if you're defensively here, you've got to force the Trojans to prove that they can consistently make an outside shot.
Suburban working that high-low again. Little backdoor cut. Babinchak attacks, and he's fouled getting to the rim.
That's where you want to see one of the Mustangs step over, put their arms straight up in the air, and get run over. Take a charge. Babinchak looks like he's the biggest threat from the outside for the Trojans. Furman went to the bench. For the Trojans, they brought in another big body, Devontae Embry-Banks.
Babinchak attacks. He misses. Huff down with it. Huff trying to get the ball to Alacio in the corner, just out of his fingertips. And Suburban's brought in some subs. They've now played 8 players in this first quarter.
Mustangs going to his own defense, switching it up. This is a nice little switch up for the Mustangs. Defensively, they have 3 big bodies down low. They should be able to be pretty wide.
Babinchak fires. He's off, and it's called out of bounds on top of the backboard. Southwestern ball.
Mustangs have the opportunity here to either tie the game or get it within 1, even after the slow start. Promising. Looks like another substitute for the Trojans. Back to the 3-2. Like you said, we're going to try to probably enter the ball high post, look to the corner. It'd be nice to get Alacio a shot here, get his feet set. He's had a good first quarter.
Mustangs are holding for 1 shot. 20 seconds left in the quarter.
You got to feel like you got to see Huff or Alacio take the shot here. They're going to try to overload it here and make somebody play.
Skip past to Alacio's there. Huff takes a long 3.
Whoa!
And he's good.
Despite the slow start, a tie game after 1. Took that shot from Madagascar.
That was a volleyball 3.
We haven't seen threes that length since the likes of Rafe Sanders.
That is Rafe range.
Duffy would shoot one every once in a while, but that was sort of like a "what are you doing, Michael" kind of shot.
At the end of 1, 12-12, Southwestern York Suburban. About to start the second quarter. Southwestern ball to start the quarter.
My apologies to the to the Michael Duffy. His range was nice.
Gorham jumps the pass. He's out in front, and he's good for 2. Suburban turns defense into offense, and now they're dropping straight back into that 3-2. Not aggressive in it, just hanging back. Alasia running corner to corner.
You got to think they got to try to get the ball to Fenwick or Lee. That's 2 straight turnovers to start the quarter. Not exactly what you want. But the Mustangs,
again.
The Mustangs have showed the ability to fight back. So 4-point deficit. It's got to be a little bit more difficult to get to the rim. And now they need to get a decent shot. If they don't get a good shot here, look for Coach Wilcox to call timeout and sort of try to figure it out.
Try to get the ball to Fenwick. It's tipped away, and Suburban comes down with it. Travel call. In for the Mustangs, number 2, Dante Ogden, and number 11, Jonah Friel. Corey Lee and Alacio take a seat.
Great quarter of action for both of those young men. Mustangs need to take care of the basketball. 3 turnovers to start the quarter, all from soft passes. And now you have Huff in that corner spot. Look for him to get a couple wide open looks.
He needs to get more in the corner.
Yeah, he's a
little high. Fenwick turnaround.
That's a great shot.
Jumper's good.
Yep.
That's a tough shot for a big kid.
And it's a bounce pass entry rather than that soft little lob pass that they've been trying the 3 possessions before. Mustangs need to stop. High-low action killing the Mustangs.
Furman for 2 more. Fenwick's shot is off and out of bounds harmlessly.
Got to be a block, right? They block it? You get hit in the face? That's a foul?
Garrett Wilson returns for Fenwick.
I think he got hit in the head.
Maybe poked in the eye.
Mustangs need to buckle down defensively here. Make it tough. You got that cross screen action on the post, on the block.
Good pressure from Garrett Wilson, and Suburban turns it over.
Yeah. And can the Mustangs do what the Trojans have done and turn that defensive stop into some offense? And one thing they can't get too comfortable doing is just passing the ball around. You got to think that Ogden would look to dribble, drive, and attack. Good entry pass by Friel. Rebound by Huff on the backside. 2-point game again, Coach.
I was just about to say, without Fenwick in the middle, that might be tough, but that worked out pretty well. Good bounce pass from Friel into Wilson. Huff cleans up the mess. Good defense there from Wilson.
Still waiting for the Trojans to prove that they can score from the outside.
2 good possessions for Derek Huff there. Offense and defensive end.
And this is where you want your old friend. This is where you want your old friend Mo to show up, right, Coach? Mr. Momentum.
Yep. Friel with a little backdoor cut. He misses an easy one. Wilson down with it. Out to Fry. Fry thinks about it. Huff. From deep. He's off. Wilson the rebound, and he's fouled.
You know, that goes back to the hustle from Jonah Friel. Battling on the backside, tipping the ball. That's how Wilson caught it. But both of those offensive rebounds are all due to Friel's hustle.
I think Southwestern's showing good patience against this zone. Wilson's good on the first. Showing good patience, getting that ball to the middle. Taking advantage. Wilson squares up his second. And he's good.
And we got a tie ball game. They fought back again.
Looks like they want to run and jump here again. Suburban handles it.
Giving them a little bit of their own medicine. A 1-2-2, not a soft 1-2-2 like the Trojans run. More of an aggressive look. There's that outside shot we've been waiting for. We can't get the defensive rebound. Good
Going off to
rotation.
Furman.
Good rotation. Get on the floor.
Scramble for the ball. Southwest comes out with it.
And that's 3 great defensive possessions in a row for the Mustangs. Exactly what you want to see. And they had the chance to take the lead.
Huff for 3. He's off the mark. Friel fights for it. And he wins the ball for the Mustangs.
What an impact. What an impact on the offensive end, and he hasn't taken a shot.
Fenwick returns, replacing Huff.
And the Trojans take out their height. Well, one of them.
Foul trouble not an issue for either team. Southwestern has only committed 1 foul in the half. Suburban 3. Ogden's able to secure that somehow. Fenwick over to Fry.
This is where you want to see John be a threat, turn and face the basket.
Trying to get the ball to Fenwick there. Just hands in the way.
Yep. Again, we've got to see if they can score the ball from the outside. Everything's been inside, inside, inside. Nice dribble drive.
That's Walker. Pull-up jumper.
Senior, 5'8". Looks taller than 5'8". I guess when you're 5'7" like me, everybody seems pretty tall, Coach.
Looks like Suburban's starting to try to jump that top action pass from Fry to Ogden.
And that's why we said earlier that Mustangs can't get comfortable just passing the ball around the perimeter. There's got to be a little bit of attack. Attack the gaps is what you'd hear coaches say, and that's the gap between the 2 defenders. Attack the elbows, make people collapse.
But at this point, there's no need to rush. 2-point game. Friel for 3. He's off. Suburban down with it. Gorham attacks. Gets away with a push-off. Pulls back for 3. Ogden rebounds.
Go to the rim. I think they got to attack the rim here a little bit, Coach. We're getting there's no foul calls because we haven't looked to attack.
Friel for another 3 is off the mark. Wilson fights for it. And he draws a foul. Not a bad foul in that situation. Palacio and Huff return for Fry and Wilson. And right there you see the impact. That's 2 offense players coming in.
Then we got to get a stop, right? Back to it. Get a stop. Make them shoot from the outside.
Tough move from Hewley there. He's off the mark, and Southwestern down with it. Ogden gathers.
You're going to get Huff in the corner there for his sweet spot. And now you've got 2 shooters on one side with Ogden and Huff and Fenwick in the middle. But one of those passes we talked about earlier, Coach.
Walker pulls up again.
Well, that's his sweet spot, that foul line jumper.
2 for 2 from there.
1 minute to go.
He's got 4 points.
Yeah, this is a danger zone that we talk about every once in a while. We need a bucket. Or our friend Mr. Moe might be switching sides.
At this point, you start to think about one shot, perhaps. Don't give Suburban another chance unless you get an open look like this. Good shot, good quality shot, just off the mark. Tipped out of bounds, Southwestern retains.
Hey, you'll take that any day and Sunday.
Southwestern in a 4-low set here.
Want to try to get an easy bucket out of the baseline. 30 seconds. Probably hold for one shot.
I think so. Your goal here is to get one shot without giving Suburban a chance at another bucket. Worst case scenario, you're down 4 going into half. Best case, you're down 1 or 2.
maybe even tied if you can get a 3-and-1. I'm just a positive person, Coach. Positive mental attitude, PMA.
10 seconds. Huff for 3. He's off the mark. A wild-looking shot.
And like you said, worst-case scenario, still down 4. Mustangs have showed the ability to fight back all night long. Defensively, you can't be upset about only giving up 22 points. And you'd have to think that some of those wide-open threes that were taken are going to start to fall here in the third and fourth quarter.
At halftime, Southwestern 18, York Suburban 22.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a big hand for our third quarters from the Southwestern Youth Basketball League. Nice job, boys.
I didn't need to know that. The audio's coming from 3.
Always good to have Tim Conrad stop by the booth. Good to see him looking spry in his retirement years.
He's got a good beard going on. His beard game is solid. Mine usually starts out strong, but just pauses. And it's like a long pause. It's like when you're smoking a pork shoulder, you know, and it gets to 165, and you don't think it's going to get to 190, but you just got to wrap it in some foil, put it back in there, and
Patience.
yeah, patience. Speaking of patience, I'd like to thank my wife, Allison, for letting me be here while she's with the 2 kids, Hudson and Ellie. Try to get them 2 or 3 mentions per game.
Why do you do this to me? Because then I got to say something about my wife. Hi, Tasha.
Joys of marriage.
I mean, who am I kidding? She's not even listening to this. What's the point? Here we are. Ready to start the second half. Suburban returns to the floor.
I don't think
at a
anybody got
leisurely
him.
pace.
Yeah, I don't think anybody got him. It was 40 seconds, and they still weren't back. Nice little halftime game between the rink players of the Southwestern Youth Basketball Association.
Suburban starts with the ball here in the second half. Looks like Southwestern might be in a 2-3 zone. And they run their jump. Back into the 2-3. Trying to get a quick steal there. Fenwick, little nickel and dimer from behind.
It's a nice Bill Raftery reference. Saw him call the game, the St. John's Georgetown game this weekend.
Woo, what a good one.
That was.
Fenwick's first.
Back to man-to-man. Into the tall trees for the Suburban Trojans.
Second chance points there for Suburban.
6-point lead. We're in the danger zone, right,
They're
Coach?
back to their 1-2-2. And that's what they're looking to do. They're trying to get that quick steal out front. If they can't, looking to play from behind. Again, Southwestern trying to get the ball to Huff there. Easier said than done. Yeah, if you're Southwestern, you got to limit them to one shot, which they did last possession, but they got the offensive rebound. Palacios jumped in the corner over to Fenwick. He turns it over. Suburban pushes. Bavinchek gets his own rebound, and he's good for 2.
And we're in a little scary area, down 8.
Another Southwestern turnover. Southwestern calls timeout. Smart timeout here. 30-second timeout.
It's a good thing we don't have a close-up of Coach Wilcox right. Well, never mind. He is not happy. Not happy with the way that they came out. Not happy with the effort. Too many turnovers, second chance points. Just things that we didn't see in that first half. And this is where they got to dig in, recover, and realize that they still have 15 minutes of basketball. You're not going to get the game back to within a one-possession game in 10 seconds. But you've got to win this defensive possession. Keep it out of the tall trees. Keep it out of the tall trees.
And you have a shot clock
There it is. Good defensive play by Fenwick. Fronts the post. Mustangs come back on transition. Well, I thought Fenwick would shoot that three. Look to get him going.
You can tell Suburban's really focused on Huff. They know he's the threat, so when he touches there, they're collapsing two guys on him. Huff switches floor. Skip pass to Alacio. Back out to Fry to Huff. If
someone else has got to be a threat.
There you go. Get the ball. I mean, if you can get the ball to Huff and they fly out and you get a little dump down pass to Fenwick. Huff for three. Off the mark. You know, every miss has been, they've looked like good shots, good soft shots, just missing.
Nice little soft jumper by number 35, Anthony Brown. That's two here this half. It's a 10-point game now with 5:36 to go. Entry into the middle. Oh, back into the tall
Wilson
trees.
is blocked.
Yep. 6'7", long arms.
Babinchek down to Furman. Two more for Furman.
He ran the floor really nice there. It's amazing what happens when you get a little excitement from a defensive stop, a block, and you run the floor as a big. If you run the floor, you should get rewarded. The Mustangs desperately need a score here. Down 12, 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Seem content to just pass the ball around the perimeter.
Got to spread this zone a little bit.
I don't remember once saying that we've attacked from the top side or attacked the gap, gone at the elbow.
Alacio tries to enter to Fenwick. Suburban controls the turnover. Babinchek pump fakes, attacks, gets the paint. Gorham misses. Huff down with it. But just too easy. Suburban at will can get to the paint there for those kickouts. Huff crosses up.
Who's going to provide the spark for the Mustangs here? Who is going to provide the spark? Huff looks a little hesitant to shoot. And that can't happen. If you're a shooter, you got to shoot your way out of a slump.
Huff for three. He's off the mark. Brown dumps off to
That's
Furman.
a double dribble. I mean, and again, the Trojans haven't shown the ability to shoot the ball from the outside. Mustangs have got to continue to force them to try to do that.
Alacio for three. He's blocked at the point of contest.
Off Babchek, going out of bounds. Mustangs retain possession. You're going to have these kind of shooting nights, Coach. It reminds me of a line from the great Lebowski. Sometimes you eat the bar, and sometimes, well, the bar eats you, you know.
Ogden back in the game for the Mustangs, along with Corey Lee and Chris Lesher. Babinchek. Block call on Lesher, trying to take the charge. Babinchek goes to the line to shoot two.
Mustangs need a spark desperately. Someone's got to inject a little life into the lineup right now. I think that's why Coach Wilcox went with 3 subs. Looking for answers, and somebody's got to do it.
I think Ogden and Lesher are a bit more of offensive threats there.
Well, not going to get it all back in one shot, but they got to make one shot.
Now you have Lesher and Ogden in the backcourt against that pressure from Brown. Up to Huff. Huff to Fenwick. Fenwick for three. Ogden controls. He attacks. He's blocked. Corey Lee cleans up the mess. 2 points for Corey Lee. Brown back on the attack. Dumps off to Hughley.
Just too easy. Everything's been inside. We've got to recognize that.
That's a quick transition there. Huff and Ogden controlling it.
Good skip pass.
As soon as you get one back, they're right back. Ogden for 3 from the top. He's good.
And there we go. Now we need a stop. It's still only an 11-point game. The Mustangs have shown some comeback ability, but it's going to be difficult to do that if we give up offensive rebounds and easy attacks like that.
Third shot opportunity for Hughley there.
That's got to be a defensive rebound after that first miss.
That's size there, showing its face. Huff up to Fenwick. Fenwick to Lesher. Lesher over to Lee.
Whoa. Holy
Furman
smokes.
coming from the backside.
Where did he come from?
That's got to be 2 points.
He's done a great job defensively tonight.
Huff gets aggressive.
Going to get a stop and play here. Huff looks like he injured himself. Trying to go for the steal. I think he landed on the hip. Looks to be in a bit of pain. Tough kid. Looks like Jonah Friel's going to come in for him. I think if we know Derek, I think give it a couple minutes, he'll be back in the game.
Now the question is, where was the ball and who had possession? It looked in live time that Suburban was literally shooting the ball when the whistle was blown. So there was no chance at a rebound.
And if we can try to judge from coach's expressions, what are you thinking?
Well, it looks like they called a jump ball, which gives the ball to Southwestern in that situation. As an official, that's a tough one because you're looking out for the safety of the player, but it was just bad timing that the ball was in the air.
Can the Mustangs solve this 3-2? Ball fakes and bounce passes, Coach.
Ball fake from Lesher there. Fenwick gets an open look, and he's good.
And we're back to that 11-point game. Can they get a stop? Everything's been inside. Look for a cross screen. Look for high-low action. We cannot let guys drive to the basket. Someone's got to step in and take a charge.
That's Brown showing some aggression. We didn't see that as much from him in the first half. Second half, we're seeing more of that from him. He's got 4 points, going to the line with a chance for 6. That's Jonah Friel's first foul. Three fouls for the Mustangs in the quarter. Suburban with none.
2 problems on that possession. One, we let him drive with the right. Got to be able to stay in front. But if we do get beat off the dribble, what happens? Someone's got to step up, plant your feet, and get run over.
Brown makes both, extends the lead. Friel to Lee. Lee out to Ogden. Skip pass to Lesher. Lesher to Fenwick. Suburban looks to push.
And there's our first 3. I think that's our first 3 of the night for the Trojans.
Number 1, Walker.
Yeah.
And that up-tempo push is up the right side. That's a Tom Triggs coach team. They've been doing that for years.
That's a staple. The hard part about this 1-2-2, they've extended a little bit. And number 35, Anthony Brown, long arms, length, really able to disrupt the Mustangs coming up the court. We've seen that. A lot of tip balls here in this third quarter.
Lesher tries to get it to Friel. It's tipped out of bounds. Southwestern retains. 7 seconds left in the quarter.
Let's see if they recognize it. 6.
Ogden attacks. He throws up a floater that's off. At the end of 3, York Suburban 41, Southwestern 25. If you're Coach Wilcox in this timeout, down 41-25, what are you telling your team, Coach?
Oof. That's a great question.
Well, that's what you've been saying. One possession at a time, one score at a time, one stop.
I'm sure he had probably about 8 minutes worth of stuff he wanted to say, but you got to focus on one thing, right? And you've got to try to stay positive. 16-point game? Am I right? I'm not a math major. 16-point game. I mean, you got to get stops and scores.
You do have a degree in every other discipline than math.
Yeah, I didn't do well in math. That was my geometry. Not a positive situation.
I would think the message defensively is to get up, get some hands in passing lanes. But again, Suburban trying to use their size. Good defense from Fenwick and Lee. Turns it over to Southwestern.
You know, they know their strength. Their strength is down there, down low on the blocks. They got some trees. They got some height. And they really do a nice job of making sure that they get in there. And again, that height, the length, the long arms on the press, causing a little
there you have a
hectic situation for
Fry's
the Mustangs.
Worried about a 10-second call on top of the pressure. Jump ball keeps it with Southwestern. Huff returns to the game. That's good to see. Replaces Corey Lee.
Tough team to prepare for. You don't see many teams run a 3-2 zone the whole game. You don't see many teams run that type of 1-2-2 pressure the whole game.
Huff returns, takes a 3, and he's good.
There you go. You just need to get knocked around a little bit. And we're back to a 13-point game. Huff is hobbling. He is hurt. Let's see if that affects him on the defensive end. They come right into anything you can do, I can do better. Trey Pridgeon. If I said the name wrong, I apologize.
Brown turns it over. He's fouled by Fry.
He's had a tremendous impact here, I think, in the second half. That's number 35, the junior power forward, 6'3", big body, long arms. Really impressed with his style of play.
And that was a set play for Pridgeon. Must be a shooter. Seeing his first action. Brown's off on his first. He'll get one more. He's true.
Yep. And the make allows them to set that back up. The Mustangs are really having a hard time getting the ball into the middle.
Good pass from Friday. Ogden for 3. Fight for the rebound. Chris Lesher comes away with it. He misses. And Huff commits a foul. 5th team foul against Southwestern. Puts the ball out of bounds for Suburban. At this point, if you're Coach Wilcox, you start thinking about a little bit of pressure as well. Something.
Maybe that run and jump again.
Yep. Looks like here it comes. Yep. Trying to get a trap there. Suburban handles it. Furman down low. He misses. Lesher comes away with it. We get a jump ball. Stays with Suburban. Our shot clock is forever stuck at 8 seconds.
I'd like to see the shot clock. I think that's something we're missing here in the state of Pennsylvania.
I agree. I'd like to see it. Furman fouled.
I think Furman's played a pretty nice game. I mean, I don't think you're going to see it in the scoreboard. I think he's only got about half a dozen points, perhaps. But, you know, defensively, what a difference he's made. Oh, bank's open.
Just knocking some dust off.
And they know he's down there. There have been a number of occasions where guys have not shot the ball or even turned and looked because they're petrified of the long arms and the 6'7" body.
Skip past to Ogden. Ogden into Fenwick. He's fouled on the attempt. First team foul against Suburban. Shiloh Bivens enters the game for Southwestern, replaces Lesher.
Getting some of the young bucks a little experience.
Ogden attacks. Off to Fenwick. I thought he was going to shoot that. Huff thought about it. Ogden attacks with the left. And he's fouled. Good take, Dante Ogden.
Yep. Attack the basket. Good things usually happen.
Ogden goes to the line, shooting 2.
Ooh.
First is soft and it drops.
We've seen a little best of both worlds in the last 2 trips to the free throw line. We saw the 40-mile-an-hour right off the glass for Suburban. Then we saw a nice little English. And then what we like to call a old Coach Lawhead shot, brick city right off the back rim.
Ogden pressures out front. Bivens fights for it. Scrum for the ball. Bivens fight. Looks like we got a jump ball. Gives it to Southwestern.
I don't think we've used the phrase scrum for the ball in any of our games that we've used before. I think we need to put that in.
5:20 left, an 18-point lead for Suburban.
Maybe that's what we do, Coach. We start writing down a list of phrases that we want to add to the live stream and see if we can get them in. Not only help ourselves out, but help the viewing audience improve their vocabulary.
Foul call on the baseline. Huff thought he had a clean block. Instead, he's charged with his second foul. 7th team foul for Southwestern. Walker to the line, shooting 2.
First one's good. A lot of solid efforts, I think, from the Trojans tonight. I think Walker's been a nice, solid ball player tonight. A couple nice elbow jumpers. Hasn't tried to do too much. Little rebound off his miss. Easy bucket.
Update on the national championship game. 3 minutes in, it's 7-7. Clemson and Alabama. Out there at Levi Stadium in San Francisco.
Just a couple jumpers and three-pointers to get the score up that early, huh?
Huff fights for the rebound. Shoots a fadeaway. Softy off the backboard.
Bank is open.
Timeout, Southwestern. And the purpose of this timeout is to set up a defense, talk strategy coming down the stretch here. 4.5 minutes left. Southwestern has to give one push here. And if you can cut it to 10 in the next 2 minutes, put a little pressure on Suburban, who knows? Southwestern down to 2 timeouts. Suburban still has all 5.
Yeah, crazier things have happened.
Southwestern's right back at it tomorrow night. The matchup at William Penn against the York High Bearcats. I'm sure Suburban has a game, but I don't know who against.
And that's the kind of on-the-spot reporting you get whenever you tune in here.
I did my research. We're back to action.
There's that 1-2-2.
Hewley over to Furman. Ridgen. Bivens with a steal and a layup.
And like you said, Coach, put the pressure on. Let's see what happens.
Shiloh Bivens gives that burst of energy there. Friel and Bivens get a steal. Ogden ahead to Huff. Huff misses. He gets his miss. Puts back in. 4 quick points for Southwestern.
Expect Coach Triggs to call a timeout.
A little tip from behind.
If things get a little out of control. Into the big trees.
Southwestern giving so much pressure out front. That's what happens. Unfortunately, it's also an and one. That foul's on Jonah Friel. His second, team 8th. A 17-point lead for Suburban. Suburban still in their 1-2-2. Battle of the 1-2-2s. Friel to Jalen Bradford in the game for the Mustangs. Huff makes another 3.
Full timeout. And just like that, it's a 15-point lead.
Timeout Southwestern again to set a defense.
And just like you talked about, you said if you can get it down to 10, and around 2 minutes to go, put the pressure on the Trojans. The lead is now at 15. And it just takes two quick stops, and you're down to a 10-point lead now. With the pressure, the pace of the game is going to go up. That clock will seem to tick just a little bit slower for the Trojans, who are trying to hold on here. One timeout left for the Mustangs.
Looks like Southwestern sticking with the 1-2-2. Bradford out front. Look for them to be pretty aggressive with this.
Blocked by Huff underneath. If you're the Trojans, you don't want to force a shot here. You're just going to run some offense. Look for them to get the ball into the post. High-low or block-to-block. The Mustangs will continue to run, jump, trap.
Southwestern showed good energy and a turnover, forced turnover. Huff ahead to Bivens. Bivens for 2.
Just like that, 13-point game, 3 minutes to go. The 1-2-2 pressure about to come back at them. Again, the Southwestern 1-2-2, much more aggressive. They're taking chances, nothing to lose.
Got to look at the backside there. Good.
Yep, and if you're the Trojans,
Brown
again,
cuts.
they're not going to force a shot here. Pulling the ball out. For the Mustangs, you probably want to foul at some point here.
And even if you go for the ball and you do foul, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Little Euro
Force a
step.
shot. Again, out to Bivens. He's out in front.
Oh, just misses it. Great run out. I think he heard the footsteps. I think the 6'5" Aiden Hewley chasing down affected the shot. You can't fault the effort. Great run out, great outlet pass.
Timeout, York Suburban.
And it's a 13-point game with 2:13 to go.
Suburban has 4 timeouts now. Seriously. It's sort of like when the game stops and they're with the timeout. As always, we'd like to thank Mr. Murdell and his Mustang Vision crew for their tremendous work.
Yeah. Mr. Murdell, very hands-on tonight. It sort of reminds me of the Tommy Boy watch and learn, you know? And he's saying it, watch and learn. We got the timeout situation straightened out.
More pressure for the Mustangs. Turns it over. York Suburban turns it over.
That's one of the most frustrating things as a coach is if you're sitting there, if you're Coach Triggs for the Trojans, you're thinking, what happened to the team that I had for the first 3.5 quarters?
2 minutes on the clock. A 13-point lead for the Trojans. Nearly get a steal.
Yeah, Mustangs got to attack. They got to be aggressive. They don't have time to mess around.
You got to score. You're looking to score and then some up-tempo pressure. If not, you're fouling.
You can't get the pressure unless you score and put the ball in the basket.
Looks like Fenwick and Lesher are in for offensive reasons, and Bradford and Friel are in for defensive reasons.
Trojans bring back Alex Furman, the big 6'7" tree right there. He's a big boy. They got some height down there.
Southwesterners get something quick here.
And there it is.
Ogden for a long 3. Fight for the rebound. Bivens with it. Back out to Ogden. Ogden to Huff. Huff jacks one. He rattles around. Lesher fights. Call a jump ball. Suburban gets possession.
Here we go. Offense, defense. 136. Realistically, the Mustangs need to get a stop and score here on this possession. If not, it's going to be increasingly difficult to think about winning this basketball game. Look to them to get aggressive here on the trap. Probably right here on the corner. That's where you want to get it.
Bivens nearly gets a tip. Ooh, Walker with the attack. He misses. Pridgeon gathers and he's fouled.
I think Walker's had a really good game. Attacks the basket well. Good foul line jumper. And Pridgeon's had a good second half. If you're Coach Triggs, you know, and you're, well, how about this? If you're an outsider watching this Suburban team, you wouldn't have thought that this is a team that went 1-21 last year. They play hard. They seem pretty darn disciplined. I think everybody in the gym knows they're trying to get the ball down to the post, and they can still go high-low, cross-screen, and get the ball there. I'm impressed. I like what I've seen from them so far.
Suburban calls another timeout.
I bet
full timeout.
Bet the Mustang Vision crew will have this timeout situation settled here within 10 seconds.
Boy, those Suburban players, man, they're just like trees in there.
That's what they have. They got eight starters over 6 foot. I feel like I've overused the word tree, so I'm gonna start saying redwoods here as we wind down the game. Do you ever remember having a team with 8 players over 6 foot? My Lord.
I mean, we wrote over 6 foot on the paper, but in reality, it wasn't true.
I lied on every single player's height. If Mike Duffy was 6 foot, then I'm 6'8".
Heck, Rafe Sanders was 6'1". Lesher with a good catch and finish.
Nice pass from John Fenwick. I'm not sure if it was intended for Lesher or intended for Huff, but they both made the right cut.
Timeout Southwestern.
13-point game.
That's their last timeout of the game.
Would have been nice to see them come out with this kind of energy in the third quarter and execute. It really hurt them. We had, it was a 4-point game, ballooned to 10, 20 points there pretty quick. I'd like to thank all the viewers out there in YouTube land. How many viewers we have tonight? What was our peak? 31.
And you got to figure some households have more than one person in it.
Yeah. I mean, my household has 3, so it's at least 34 people watching. And I have 2 dogs, so let's add 2 more to that. Just appreciate all the positive feedback we're getting from the folks. Suburban looks content just to take care of the ball. No, I look like an idiot. Step out of bounds, and the Mustangs get the ball.
.35 seconds left. Southwestern, of course, looking to get something quick here.
And you want to see something positive towards the end of the game.
Huff fires for 3. He's off the mark. Desperation at that point.
Yep. 17 seconds left. 3 good quarters for the Mustangs. Just got to get that 4th one. Hopefully they come out with the same enthusiasm, strong effort tomorrow night against York High. 8-0 York High.
They've only played 8 games?
Last time I checked, yeah.
That'll do it here from the Corral. Final score, York Suburban 55, Southwestern 42. For Matt Lawhead, I'm Nate Brobeck. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Take it easy.